Want to learn how to set up your invitations and print sheet the right way in Canva? Then keep on watching. Hey y'all, Victoria Cherie here with Pretty Party and Crafty, and today we're going to jump right into how you can make your own invitations in Canva, along with how to make a print sheet for it. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that you have canva.com open, and you want to click custom size. I want the invitation to be 5 by 7. But I want to include bleed as well, because a lot of times if you're not printing at home, if you're printing at a print shop, they require bleed. So instead of 5 by 7, I want to set this to 5.25 by 7.25. So it gives you an extra 1/4 of an inch or an 1/8 of an inch on each side. And I'm going to hit create new design. All right, so on the left side panel, I'm going to go to Elements and click on Shapes and just click the square. I'm going to go to Position, and I'm going to change the size of this to 5 by 7. And then I'm going to make sure that I center it. I'm going to delete this in just a moment, but the reason why I have this is so that we can visualize where the important information needs to be. So I'm going to add guidelines to this document. Now, if you don't see the rulers on your screen, on your keyboard, just hit Shift and the letter R, and it'll bring up your rulers. So I'm just going to click and drag from the left ruler until it hits my rectangle. And I'm going to do it again to hit the other side. And now I'm going to click and drag from the top to do the same thing for the bottom and to do the same thing for the top. All right, and now I'm going to delete this rectangle. Okay, so those purple guidelines, that represents the bleed. So the outer side or the outer edges, you want to make sure that your important information is not out there. You want to keep everything on the inside, but you do want to extend the background past those guidelines. So when you're doing an invitation or pretty much any design, you have 3 main things that you want to include. You want to make sure that you have a background. You want to make sure you have your text, and then you want to add your graphics and additional elements. So now I want to go ahead and add a background. I'm going to have this be maybe a strawberry invitation, so maybe a berry first birthday. So I'm going to go to Elements, and I'm going to look for some type of strawberry background. Okay, I'm going to go to See All. All right, so most of the graphics that I used, I found in Canva. Just look under Elements and you can search for things. The little girl, I'll link that in the description. For the word berry in Elements, just search for strawberry letters. And then just play around with it until you find what you like. Change colors, add strokes, add dividers. It's totally up to you. Just have fun with it. Once you're finished, you can go ahead and rename it. I renamed mine 5 by 7 Strawberry Invitation, and we can download it. So click Share, Download. I downloaded it as a PNG, and I put the size at 1.625. All right, now let's say you're not printing on our 5 by 7 cardstock, but instead you want to print 2 per sheet on 8.5 by 11 cardstock. So you're going to create a new design and size it 8.5 by 11. Once you do that, you'll bring in your image. So we already downloaded, bring it in. It comes in smaller, so go to Position and make sure you resize it to 5 by 7. Once you resize it, you're going to rotate it so you'll have room for 2. And then you're going to duplicate it. So again, this is if you're printing at home and cutting at home. So this is perfect for that. So once you have it arranged, you're going to go ahead and rename it. I'm going to name it No Trim. And then I'm going to click Share, Download as a PDF print, and flatten. Now let's say you need to go to Office Depot to get this printed and cut. They need you to have trim marks. So for you to have it printed and cut on cardstock at Office Depot or Staples, they need your file to have trim marks and the design to have bleed. And if that's the case, no worries, because we have it available. So as you can see, there are black marks around it. That represents where the company is going to cut at. And all you have to do is drag and drop your design inside. Just make sure your design has bleed. So it's 5.25 by 7.25. Then you're going to just download it as normal. So you'll click Share, download as a PDF print, and make sure you flatten it. With the single image, we printed that on our 5x7 Party Printables cardstock. It's single-sided glossy, so it's glossy on the front side, and then it's matte on the back. For our second file without the trim marks, we printed this on our 96-pound double-sided glossy, so you can definitely print on both sides if you want to. And then for our last file with the trim marks, we did this on our matte cardstock. So there's no gloss, but it has a nice smooth finish. It prints absolutely beautifully, just like butter. Okay, and hopefully you can also see the trim marks in the corner, because that's where you're going to cut, or if you send it to a print shop, that's where they're going to cut as well. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this one without the trim marks. The only thing with this part is there's a chance that you may get white edges like I did, because I just didn't cut straight. So that's one of the downsides of not having trim marks. Now with having trim marks, if you wanted to, you could cut a stack of invitations. So instead of just cutting one sheet, you may decide to cut a stack of 5 or a stack of 10 at one time, and you don't have to worry about any white edges because the extra bleed ensures you're all good. So hopefully you learned something new. If you did, be sure to like and follow for more. Later, y'all.